Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a simple tutorial on datum planes and how to use them to build your model. So let's get to it. Let's start with a new model. So I'm going to let's start with a body and a sketch. I'm going to create in the XY plane. This is just a simple sketch, okay, and we'll make it lofty a little bit and make it complicated, but let's start with the simple sketch. I'm going to actually start with a rectangle, then I'm going to create another rectangle. I want to create some kind of a pipe first, and then we'll work on the planes. Okay, so going to not going to constrain it fully, but I'm going to at least put few constraint around it. So that's one constraint. So I'm going to use the symmetric constraint to make it symmetric about the all both axes. Okay, so let's do this and then do that. So that I think that should be enough. If you want, you can fully constrain it. That's not the purpose of this exercise here. So I'm going to close it out. So that sketch is already created. Now this sketch was created in XY plane. You can see that, right? So this is the global coordinates, and then also the sketch in that global coordinates. Okay, now I want to create another, I would say, another sketch somewhere here with that has to be not in any of these planes. There are three planes that typically you got, right? You got XY plane, YZ, and ZY. So I don't want to create in any of them. That would have been too simple, right? So what I want it is an arbitrary plane that exists somewhere here on a certain angle. I want to create that. So how do you go about doing that? Because that's that. First I want to create a plane, and then I want to create a sketch onto that plane. So let's start with the datum plane. So okay, so on by default, what it when FreeCAD said, okay, I have a sketch here, so I'm going to put my plane on that sketch. That's what it did. Okay, you can see this on the plane parameters menu. You got, these are the references. So the plane, the where the plane going to be referenced is here, and then it has the attachment mode. So right now it is attached to the XY, so you can clearly see it's XY. And then you have a offset, so you can offset from this XY plane or rotate it about the XYZ planes. Okay, so that's the essentially the this menu is. Now it's a little bit overwhelming initially, but that's pretty basic. Okay, now let's play around this a little bit. Now one thing to keep in mind, the a plane even though it looks right now it is on the global coordinate system, it has its own local coordinate. It is not shown here right now. The global and the local coordinates of the plane is essentially same. Now how do I verify that? So first thing, you can play around these with these, because this is already activated. Let's say I'm going to increase it. So yeah, it increased in the X direction, right? So that's mean that my global coordinates and my local coordinates of this plane is same in X direction. So I'm going to go back and adjust this. I'm going to make it, yeah, so Y is this direction on the plane. The local axis of the plane is Y direction is same as the global. Okay, now I'm going to go back and change this one. You can see it is moving, okay, in Z direction. Now once it moves in Z direction, Now if let's say if I go and play this guy, now it is expanding in this x direction, so that means its axis, the local axis, also moves with the plane, and it is oriented in x direction here, y direction is here, and z is here. So you can kind of picture that, right? So I'm going to go back to the default, and I can do is, you can rotate it, right? Okay, it is rotating in y direction, right? You can see slightly twisted. Maybe I can increase it more. Yeah, so now it's not parallel to this, right? So it's slightly twisted. So I'm going to go back to the defaults, and I'm going to, since we are changing few things, I'm going to go back to all my defaults here. So it's right on the sketch. Now I can, you see now it's in xz plane, yz, so it has given you some options. Okay, now I'm going to go back. Okay, in inertia it doesn't do anything, but if you have a line or edge, if you pick it in, you can make some changes. So play around with that and see what happens. So now what I'm going to do is, if I deactivate it, it doesn't do anything but it does deactivate this offset options. Okay, now of course this is we'll get to this in the second plane we are going to create. So I'm going to go back to xy. It's because now it is activated, it's on the xy plane. I'm going to do some offsets here. So I'm going to offset it in z direction in negative. Say I'm going to make it like -5, and I'm going to, since y is still in this direction of this plane, I'm going to rotate it. Let's say I'm going to rotate it by 30. Okay, so I got a plane that is offset by 5 inches and rotated by 30. Now what I want to do is do a sketch on this. So you can just pick on that plane, go to sketch, it automatically picks that sketch. Okay, that plane, and then my sketch is on that plane. Now what I can do is I can draw another rectangle. Let's do another rectangle. It doesn't has to be the same size. Okay, it can be a little bit larger or smaller. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the same set of constraints here. This constraining is not important in this case. So in your case, you can constrain it, but I'm not going to bother about that right now. Just this is just a example, and I want to get this message across. So we got this second sketch completed. Now you can see how it looks, right? So you got a one sketch, you got another sketch. Now I want to connect these two. I want to make like a pipe or something like that, right? And I want to do that in a sweep it across more like a arc. Okay, now what to do that is I want to create another plane and draw another sketch connecting these two. So how do I do that? um, let's go and pick the datum plane. Now it's a little bit becoming a little bit interesting. Okay, now what it did was it go and put that same plane on this sketch. That's not what I wanted, but it did it. So it's that, because that's why it says, oh yeah, you are already selecting the sketch one, which is this sketch, and they have already created that uh, plane on top of it. So that's not what I want. So I'm going to go and say, yeah, I'm going to, I'm going to reselect this point. So here is what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and try to select this vertex. Okay. Okay, let's see what. Wait, this didn't do that. Let's keep. Maybe I need to go a little bit closer. Okay, now it's selected that point, and then let's see. So it is still not connecting. Okay, maybe let's see what we can do here. Let's try to connect this guy. Okay, that worked. So somehow it didn't pick that one, but I was able to pick the point here. Now it became interesting, right? So it went to sketch, which is the first sketch, and selected this vertex, which is the vertex 5. Now I want to do this second reference point. So you can do multiple reference point. I want to create a second reference point, and I want to pick this point. So once it get highlighted in yellow, pick that one. Now FreeCAD has a way of jumping onto things and think that, okay, he mean I wanted to create a plane in between these 2 points. So it's fine. It is kind of it has some its own intelligence. It uses, okay, uh, it try to kind of prejudge what I want to do, and this is not what I want to do. So I'm going to go to the third reference point. Now I can go and pick any of these. These are not going to work, so I have to pick another reference point, and then I'm going to pick this. Maybe I'm going to pick this one, because see, so what the logic here is, if you pick any 3 points, you can create a plane. So that's the logic I'm going to use here. So let's see, make it okay. There you go. Now you got a plane that connects these two vertices, and then this vertex. Okay. So now you got the plane you want, and I want to kind of draw something on this plane. So once again, now you see you got your offset modes here. So let's say what now you can see what my directions are. This has its own local coordinates. So let's test that, see where it does that. So okay, my x is now oriented here. A global coordinates x is in this direction, but the local coordinates of this plane x is in this direction. Okay, so that's why it expands in that direction. I don't need to do that, but I can expand it if I want to. Okay, I don't think I need to do that. In y direction it is let's see what okay, it is expanding in this direction. Okay, so that's y direction, and of course z is perpendicular to that, so you can do that. Okay. I don't want to do that. I want to have this on that exactly aligned to those points. So I'm not going to touch anything here. I got what I want. So the out of this lesson is that, okay, you can create your plane any way you like it. Now the cool thing about it, it finally figured it out. I wanted to create my plane with 3 points. So FreeCAD finally figure that one out. It would have been nice if I had the option to pick this one up first and then go and click on the the references. Somehow it did not do that for some reason, but I was able to get around by picking on the reference points here, and then I got the intention was, I was successfully created that plane. So let's say okay and get out of this. Since we created something here, let's finish it off. Okay, so I'm going to pick this plane, so this second plane, and create another sketch on that. So you can see it is kind of it doesn't really show you what exactly, but you can see that that plane, it's kind of a right perpendicular. Our camera is kind of aligned perpendicular to that plane. So what I can do is a little bit play it around a little bit and show you guys how it is drawn. Okay, so let's I want to kind of create a point or line passing through this. So let's play around a little bit and move it around. So let's do this. I'm thinking these 2 points are connected with this, so that's what I want to make sure that I'm picking the right points when I want to draw this. Now, since I want to pick a couple of vertices on those 2 sketches, I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to create this edge linker and see whether I can pick on these 2 sketches and then try to link this vertex to the sketch I'm currently working on. Let's see whether I can do that. Okay, it did that. It picked that vertex and connected that to this sketch. That's why it highlighted in red. I want to do the same thing here. Let's try to do that. Okay, so I was able to successfully do that. Now what I can do is now I can use this because now those 2 vertices are in this sketch. I can pick on them and draw something. So let's for the it's the easiest thing to draw a curve is to go to B spline. Let's do something like this and pick on it. So it highlighted in yellow. Now I pick on that. Now see you created a B spline. Now here if I go and pick on this, it just my camera or my view get go to the perpendicular view to the sketch. So that make things easier for me. I'm going to make it a little bit make it a little bit shape, adjust the shape a little bit, make it nicer. I mean it doesn't matter really, but okay, so whatever. So once again this sketch can be constrained. It could have definite dimensions to it, all kinds of stuff, but I'm not going to bother. So I'm not going to constrain it. I'm going to get out of it. So now you got 2 say rectangles and connecting with the B spline. So since we came this far, let's finish it up with the sweep option. Okay, so before doing that I want to go and pick one of the sketches. So I'm going to pick, I can I don't want to pick this one. I want to pick either sketch 0 or sketch 1. So I'm going to pick the sketch 1 and then use the sweep option. Now the advantage there is it automatically picks that one because that's why it is not showing up. It's already picked up here. Okay, now path to sweep is I'm going to sweep it across this, so get the edge. Now it sweep it across it. Now see, the thing is it terminated somewhere here. I don't know how it decided that I want to terminate it here, but the cool thing about that is we can actually determine how it is going to be terminated. So I want to terminate it in this sketch. So what I can do here is so select section transformation. Sorry, it's section transformation, not selection. It's section transformation. Say transform mode is constant. I don't want that. I want to get multi-section. Okay, I'm getting things mixed up. So it's multi-section. Okay, so I can add a section here. So now even though this looks like a section, but if I pick let's say I would pick edge, it picked the whole section. Okay, it is smart enough to do that, so it did that. So now you got a section or a pipe completely constructed. So I say okay, you got, complete a body, a pipe sweep across, and it is, quite arbitrary. So the point of this tutorial is how you aligned or adjust your planes the way you want it, and then draw sketches on that, and build your model. So it is quite useful, dealing with datum planes. So that's the, essentially the purpose of this tutorial. Hopefully you guys learned something new here, and if you like it, or if you have questions, please subscribe, please give a thumbs up if you like it, and see you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Bye.